Well, it happened. We have hit a new high in pricing. And yes, if you can't tell by my little friend over here, this is the December housing market update. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Christian Stubbs. I am a team leader and owner here at Onyx Homes. And I make these updates every single month just to give you as a consumer a better idea of what is going on in the real estate market. We get the question the most often, especially this time of year, how is the market? So that's the reason I make these videos. We send this out YouTube, Facebook, everywhere, and on our email list. So if you're not on that already, make sure you hit ocmarketupdates.com, go to that website, join this newsletter as well too. We send it out every single Friday, and the first of every month is our newsletter market update. So this is it right here. Let's dive into the summary first, because there's some interesting changes that I don't think a lot of people saw. So I'm gonna start with the summary. So if you like short and sweet, you can stop watching after that, skip to the end, because I have something I wanna share with you also. But I'm gonna go in depth on each one of these as well too. So the first category we are going to talk about are new listings. This means signs put in the ground, houses listed on the market. These are new for the month. Now remember, this is the December housing market update, but we're always reviewing last month's numbers. So in November, there were 1,326 new listings in Orange County. That's a 12% drop of the previous month, which isn't surprising at all given that it is the holiday season. Now the next is active listings. This is the number of homes that are actively on the market, and this is really unchanged. I mean, it barely changed at all. So if new inventory to the market is down by 12%, active inventory is pretty much the same. There's an interesting picture that comes in the next few things. So next is pending sales. This means buyer demand. How many homes went under contract? And this number fell off the cliff, or should I say continues to fall off the cliff. If you've been following along for the last few market updates, this is a trend that we are seeing hit harder this holiday season than we have probably ever. So pending sales this last month were about half of what they were the previous month, which was almost half of what it was the month before that. So we've seen pending sales really slide off the cliff. Now this might be interesting after I just shared that, but days on market, the average days on market for Orange County actually went down to 24 days. So from the time the sign goes in the yard to under contract or pending, we are 24 days. So that's actually gotten shorter. And last but not least is price. Prices have gone up in relation to last month. Yes, the median price of all the homes that sold in November was higher than the previous month. Now, yes, it was lower amount of homes, all of these different things, and I hate looking at pricing on a month-to-month basis, but in this wild market that we've been in for the last couple of years, everybody's looking on a month-to-month basis. So we are right now at the highest prices we have ever seen in Orange County. And there are a lot of things that are coming. There's a lot of dominoes that are going to start falling in the next 12 months, which I'm gonna go through, especially towards the end of this video. So I'm curious, are you shocked by this? If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you might be watching it, drop a comment down below. Is why in the world do you think prices are increasing when buyers' demand is being cut in half and half and half almost every single month? I personally feel like there are two major reasons why this is happening. And to be honest, I feel like this might be the beginning of a major shift in the market. We've been in a pretty neutral market for the last year and a half or so, since we came off the peak of 2022, which was in the summer-ish time. Let's say May, June, July was really when the market peaked in 2022, slowly and steadily going back up. And like I said, we've hit a new peak. Two major reasons. The first one is for the last, let's say 12 months, we have been really getting used to, or I should say buyers and sellers have been getting used to 6.5%-ish rates. 6.5, wherever it's been. But we've been pretty consistently just going up and down right around those benchmarks. And in the last few months, we've seen rates go from 6 to 8% when the inflation numbers came back, not what everybody was expecting. So the Fed continued to raise interest rates, which brought the mortgage rates from 6 to 8, almost 9% at some points. This does a couple of things. This brings people onto the fence, meaning people that were in the market said, you know what, I just can't afford what I want. I'm gonna sit the rest of this thing out. And it scared a lot of other people that, shoot, we might see 9% rates. So when rates really started ticking up above the 6 and 7% range, a lot of buyers just said, you know what, I'm gonna get in now. I don't want rates to go any higher. I need to make a move, or I really want to make a move. And they were doing that. And that was spurring a lot of competition. Now, the other side of that is it has kept listings on the sideline. There are a ton of people that own a home that want to sell that and buy something else. But as these rates keep going up, it's keeping inventory low. Like like we said, new inventory to the market was down 12% and active listings were about the same. So what does that mean? It means, and buyer demand being really low, that means there's a lot of people pulling their homes off the market in the holiday season. Now, having said that, the homes that are on the market that are looking good and priced right, those homes are still selling very quick, which we see in that average 24 days on market. Now, point number one was that we've been used to rates going from 6.5, and then they went up to 8 really quickly, and that kind of jarred the market. Now, my point number two is that if you watch the news at all, there's been a lot of headlines that the Fed is gonna cut rates 6 times next year. Next year meaning 2024. So this is spurring a ton of buyers to have PTSD that were shopping in 2020 and 2021. They were in line for 2 hours waiting to get into an open house, competing against 50 other offers. We as a company had to write 15 or 16 offers per client to get one accepted. It was the most competitive market anybody's ever seen. And if rates were to come down to the 4, 5, I mean, right now even 6% range, we are likely to see a flood of buyers jumping off of that fence that they've been sitting on for so long and getting into the market. And with inventory already at the lowest it's really ever been, we are likely to see a lot more competition when rates come down, not so much if. Now, there's a lot of reading between the lines on these headlines because it's not 100% the rates are gonna come down to 4% in Q2 of this next year, meaning like March, April, May. There's a lot of uncertainty still when rates come down, not if at this point, but we don't really know how soon. So a lot of these headlines are stirring up, there's getting a lot of attention, but we really do not know for sure when they're gonna start cutting rates and when we're gonna see a significant decline in mortgage rates. But I can assure you that when you do, a lot of those buyers sitting on the fence are gonna be jumping off. All right, so let's review in detail each one of these different categories, and we'll start back up at the top, which is new listings. A lower amount of new listings coming to the market in December is really no surprise whatsoever. This happens every single year where if you're looking at a chart, inventory and buyer demand both go down through November and December specifically, sometimes a little bit earlier than that. So there's really no surprise here. And honestly, a 12% decrease in new listings to the market isn't really that significant. The thing that is significant comes later when you go back to talking about buyer demand. And again, I can't stress this enough with these market updates is we are looking at all of the data from November, and I'm giving you color based on everything we're talking about with clients right now when I'm filming this. So the numbers are from last month, but I'm really giving you what is happening right now in the marketplace because we talk to so many different people buying, selling, investing that we have a really, really strong pulse on the market. So new listings being down 12% is not surprising. When we come out with the next market update, December new listings is gonna be even lower. So last month we saw 1,326 homes come to the market, which as I'm saying is not a terribly surprising to see it be at that number. But I wanna paint the bigger picture. If we zoom out farther back than pre-COVID, so let's just use round numbers. In 2018, there were 2,400 new listings where we had 1,350. And in 2019, there were 2,100. And again, we are only at 1,326 listings for this last month. So in the grand scheme of things, the big picture, there are so much fewer homes coming to the market, which is really what is keeping prices high. And it's what's keeping the market going even with this low buyer demand. And we'll expect to see these numbers be even lower in the next market update when we get December's numbers. All right, let's talk very quickly about available listings because there's really not a whole lot to talk about here, except what I mentioned very briefly earlier in the video is that there are a lot of people that pull their homes off the market in the holiday season because they don't want to be showing it. They feel like it's not a great time to sell or whatever reason, but there are definitely people that are putting their homes on hold or taking them off the market completely. And that on top of fewer listings coming to the market, we're seeing inventory actually decrease. So active inventory this time of year usually goes up because buyer demand goes down and there's usually more homes on the market. We're getting ready for the new year, but this year we're seeing a decrease in inventory as well too. Now, pending sales, if you've been following along, this is the one you're definitely gonna want to listen to, is this has been cut in half again. So if we looked at this last month, I've got my numbers over here. This is the lowest amount of buyer demand pending sales, meaning homes that went under contract since the pandemic. When the world shut down, when we weren't even allowed in Orange County to show houses, to write, we could write contracts, I suppose, but we couldn't show houses. Title was closed for a while where we really could not do anything. So we could, I guess, get a house under contract, but we weren't even really allowed to show the house. There are fewer homes that went under contract this last month than the month that the world shut down, just for reference. So buyer demand is really really low. And it shows because prices are staying steady, which doesn't even seem to make sense. But the reason for that is there's so little good inventory on the market that buyers are still competing with multiple offers. I can share with you right now that every single house we wrote an offer on in the last 3 weeks, and we write 5, 6, 7, 8 offers a week, at least with our clients, is every single one of them is in a multiple offer situation. In a low inventory market, buyers flock to the good inventory. And even though there's fewer buyers, there's way less inventory and there's way less good inventory. I always say it looks good and is priced right. That's what I mean by good inventory. Having said that, and I alluded to this earlier, is there is a fence that is full of buyers sitting on it, waiting for something to happen. Buyers are hoping and praying for a market crash, assuming they're not a homeowner, and they're ready for rates to come down at any second. So this is a conversation we're having with a lot of people who are waiting for whatever, is they are really hoping and praying for a market crash so that it can help buyer affordability for them. And also they realize that if they wait for rates to drop, the second rates come down, it's gonna be super competitive and they'll have to jump in the market. That is overall, anybody that's sitting on that fence, that's unsure of what to do, I'm keep pointing at like there's a fence right here. They are really looking for one of those two things, or maybe even both, which is in a lot of circumstances, they're just looking for some down payment and really payment alleviation. If you're in this situation, I'm speaking to you here, I would really hate to see you wait just a little bit too long. So I would advise, if you're not already talking with your agent, and certainly if you're not working with an Onyx agent, you should definitely get a strategy session in place so that you know exactly when you're comfortable jumping and really what you're waiting for. That's my 2 cents, but there are a lot of people that are in that position. Now, if you're buying and selling at the same time, much more complicated process, especially if you're trying to time the market. Again, cannot emphasize enough, let's have a conversation way before you're actually ready to make that move. Huge disclaimer is these numbers are pre-rates coming down. So all of these numbers that I've mentioned were with rates at 8.5, almost 9%. We have seen rates come down 1.5% in the last couple of weeks. This buyer demand, I can tell you from what we're dealing with right now, is we have a ton more clients already getting back into the market in preparation for rates to continue coming down. We're seeing multiple offers, like I said, on everything we're seeing. So buyer demand is already ticking up. Prices ticked up this month, and I expect to see that continue in December, which I'm not even entirely sure that's ever happened, but this is a very unique winter. Days on market, I kind of already mentioned this, so I'll go quickly. There are a lot of homes that are being pulled from the market. That's number one. And we're seeing very early data on rates coming down, more buyers coming into the market. So it's not entirely surprising that, knowing what's going on right now, that days on market actually went down. But if you just look at what has happened on this summary, it looks a little crazy that prices have gone up and days on market have gone down with buyer demand as low as it is. Those numbers are going to change when we come out with this next month. Next market update is going to be interesting. So again, if you're not subscribed to ocmarketupdates.com, I would highly recommend make sure you are. If you're getting this in your email, you are already subscribed, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're not, ocmarketupdates.com and register. Now, the third thing with this is that sellers on the market are motivated. So they have a reason or a need to sell, and they are negotiating deals and they're making things happen right now. So that's another reason why we're seeing lower days on market, higher prices. Those don't really speak to each other, but there are a lot of motivated sellers on the market right now, which is common for every holiday season. Now, to make a comparison as well too, days on market last month was 26 days, now it's 24. So that's not really changed, but it's interesting that it went down. But if we compare it to this exact same time last year, so in 2022, average days on market was 34. So we are in a more competitive market with higher interest rates, with less inventory and less buyer demand. And if you do not have an agent by your side that knows exactly what's going on in this marketplace, cannot stress enough, you need to make sure you at least get a second opinion, talk to somebody that is really in the market and understands what's going on. All of our agents here at Onyx Homes absolutely study this information, stay up to date. They watch my videos as well too. So we are all up to date as what's going on in the market. And here's the reality. A lot of real estate agents completely take off the whole entire holiday season, especially right now when the market's harder. Our agents are talking to more people now than they have almost all year long, because so many people are asking that question, how's the market? So if you have a unique question for you, reply to this, go to our website, reach out to your agent, but make sure that you have all the information you really need. And if you're thinking about listing your home anytime soon, pricing your home right the first time is incredibly important, and it really has been more important now than ever to start with the right price. So if you're in an early research phase of thinking, maybe I'll sell my house this next year, I've got a link in the description that will give you ability to do a couple different things. First and foremost, you can get an idea of what your home's worth. We talked about Zillow estimates and Redfin estimates in a separate video. You can return to that if you'd like. But this is gonna do two things. Number one, it's gonna ask you a couple questions and give you the value of your home on an automated estimated range value. That's great. A lot of different companies that do that. This is a starting point for price. We go one entire step further is we're gonna ask you some questions about that property so we can give you a real number, or at least a real value range. Depending on how much information you share with us, we're gonna have one of our local experts go through, or your agent will go through and make a full custom market analysis on what your home should sell for if you were to list it now. There's also a lot of other options. If you'd like to go deeper on this, we can give you an idea of what upgrades you should do, what upgrades you should not do, which is probably more important, and anything like that. So if you're interested in that type of information, you can always reach out to us. The links are in the description down below. You can go to our website and ask for a free market valuation as well too. Now, I feel like I don't need to say this, but I will anyway, is there's no cost, there's no obligation in working with us whatsoever. If you're just curious, you can absolutely go through this process. It doesn't take a whole lot of your time. It takes us a couple hours to put the market analysis together, and we have no problem sharing that with you as well too. So if you're interested in that, information is down in the description below, or you can go to our website, socalhomesforsale.com, and click on free market analysis under the seller tab. All right, let's move on to price. This is what everybody's gonna be asking about, is why in the world are prices going up with all this going on? And like I've said, when we have new listings going down on top of active inventory about the same, pending sales being cut in half, average days on market going down, and that all leads to prices going up. It doesn't really seem to make sense, but at the same time it does. Like I said, if you just look at numbers, you're gonna get one picture of what's going on. If you add that picture of what's going on to what we're talking to buyers, sellers, investors, and people just like you, it gives us a way better picture, and we can really understand why prices are going up, because we see things way before they show up in numbers. And what we're seeing right now is prices are likely to keep increasing. And when rates come down, we are likely to see an explosion back into the market, buyer demand going way, way up. And the number of listings that comes to the market is really gonna depend on what it looks like. If there are a lot of people that have been wanting to sell their home for the last 2 years, and they're thinking, finally, I can sell my home now that rates have come down, maybe we do see a lot of inventory come to the market. My concern is if we do not see a ton of inventory come to the market, we'll likely see prices go way up. But we'll see what 2024 looks like. But this is your last market update for 2023, and I wanted to give you some extra color on this one. So if you don't like the super long video, I apologize. I just felt this one needed more information. Also, I think my penguin wanted some extra screen time. Now, even if you're in research mode, I cannot stress this enough. You might be 1, 2 years out, 6 months away from making any type of decision. Cannot stress enough that it's never too early to reach out and do what we call a strategy session. There's really a couple different goals here, but if you're early in the process and you're more in that research phase, the idea is we're gonna give you a lot better idea of the questions you're asking and answer them, but really answer the questions you're not asking and make sure that you have all the information available. What I've noticed is a lot of people wait to the very last minute before reaching out to their agent, and that isn't the best idea when it comes down to you're making a huge investment, so why not take advantage of all the resources you have? So in these strategy sessions, a lot of the times we finish with creating a game plan that makes sense for you and is gonna help you in your process. Like I said, whether you're looking to buy or sell in the next couple of weeks or in the next couple of years, the idea is just to make your life a heck of a lot easier and leverage our experience and expertise just to do that. Also, if you're in a position where you're going to be buying and selling at the same time, and you would like to learn about buying before you sell, even if you don't think you can, we have an incredible product that is really helpful. All that information will be in the description down below. I've also done a lot of videos on that also, so we'll link that as well too. The market has changed, and so has our strategies. And honestly, I feel like you owe it to yourself to make sure you have all the information to make the best decision for you and your family. So I hope you found this valuable. If you did, share it with a friend. Make sure you're getting this in your email inbox. Go to ocmarketupdates.com. My name is Christian. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.